Welcome to today's Contractors Panel session. My name is Maria Quiroz, and I'm the interim manager of the Small Business Development team. With me today is Christine Pham, who will be facilitating the Q&A, and Brian D'Amico, our team member. I will be your host for today's event. And now a word from our president, CEO, Kim Becker.
Hello, I'm Kim Becker, President and CEO of the San Diego County Regional Airport Authority. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the 2021 Meet the Primes presentation. This is the second year our Small Business Development team has hosted Meet the Primes virtually, and we're looking forward to bringing you our program today. While we can't meet in person right now, we learned from our first virtual event that the matchmaking portion is very valuable to both attendees and our prime contractors. In addition to providing you with information on applying for certifications, we will connect attendees and prime contractors virtually during our matchmaking session. You will hear directly from 11 prime construction contractors about upcoming subcontracting opportunities, bid timelines, certifications, and have a chance to directly ask questions. We hope that through these connections, local, small, underrepresented, and veteran-owned businesses will gain valuable information and contacts that will help them compete successfully for jobs at the airport. Particularly during this time of economic uncertainty, we recognize the challenges small businesses have endured during the pandemic. Our airport is about to embark on the $3 billion redevelopment of Terminal 1, which will be the largest and most expensive capital improvement project in our airport's history. This project will not only improve our facilities and enhance our customer experience, but it will also provide critically needed jobs for our region's workers. Small and local businesses have historically contributed significantly to the development of our airport today. In the past decade, we've completed the Terminal 2 parking plaza and the new International Arrivals facility. We've expanded Terminal 2 West, built a new rental car center, and most recently finished our critically needed behind-the-scenes airport support facilities. These projects would not have been possible without small and local businesses. Collectively, these projects total more than $1.5 billion and include roughly $870 million in construction contracts specifically with local businesses and $298 million with small businesses. By providing unique opportunities for small and local businesses, the Airport Authority continues to generate millions of dollars for San Diego's regional economy. We are part of our region's infrastructure and play a critical role in recovery from the pandemic. Providing jobs is one of the ways we're helping with recovery. I mentioned that you will have the chance to talk directly with prime contractors working here at the airport. Among this group will be our Arrive team, who will talk specifically about subcontractor contract opportunities with the development of the new Terminal 1. We hope you will enjoy Meet the Primes today and take away needed information to successfully compete for a range of jobs and opportunities at San Diego International Airport. We look forward to having you climb aboard and join us in our efforts to innovate and enhance the airport customer experience for decades to come. Thank you for joining us.
I hope you have all enjoyed the video from our president, CEO. In today's Contractors Panel session, we will be hearing from 5 panelists who are prime contractors. Sitting on the panel with us today is Justin Sherman from Burns & McDonnell, Eric Belmaris from Clark Construction, Hanny Hearns and Jeff Sadlak from Jacobs, Patrick Goforth and Shane Landenberg from PCL Construction, and Brad Courage from Sun Construction. Thank you everyone for participating with us this morning. with that said, I want to welcome Justin from Burns & McDonnell, who will be our first panelist.
Thank you, Maria. It's a pleasure to be here to get a chance to interact with you and some other folks here in the small business realm.
Thank you, Justin. We appreciate your support and helping us out today. So let's get started with some information that we want to share with our attendees. So please give us an intro to Burns & McDonnell.
Absolutely. Well, I guess first off, again, I'm Justin Sherman. I'm our branch manager for our San Diego office. We are located in La Jolla, California. Obviously a beautiful place. A little bit about our company as a whole. Our company was established in 1898. So the company is 123 years old. So been around for a while. We've just bypassed 10,000 employees. So we now have 10,000 employees in our company globally. And so we are a global company with entities around the world, with 55 offices really spread out again around the world. For us, it is obviously design is a huge component of our business, design and consulting, but we are roughly a 50-50 split between design build, EPC projects, and design and consulting services only. We are a top 10 design firm in the ENR Top 500. And a few of the different segments that we're a part of, so power and T&D, we are the #1 design firm. Aerospace, we are #2. Airports, we're #3. And then the marine and port facilities, we are number 12. And one of the most important things for us is we are 100% employee owned. And that's from our design CAD staff all the way up through our CEO, 100% employee owned by our employees.
Great, thank you. What has been Burns & McDonnell's history in San Diego?
So for Burns & McDonnell, we've been here for some time. Again, we are a top 10 California design firm as well, with over 250 employees in the region. We've been providing engineering, design, and construction services for over 25 years now. And so it's been well established here for many years, ranging from our aviation, power, electrical transmission and distribution, facilities, so data centers, things like that, environmental services, our technology solutions, and then program management and construction, all within the region for the last 25 years. Just to give you an idea of some of the projects that we've been a part of, we recently completed the airside civil engineering and design and the security special systems in the new Federal Inspection Services facility at the San Diego Airport here in 2018. This was a LEED Gold Plus DBIA award winner. We've done a number of projects up at LAX, ranging from the Terminal 1 modernization program to the pavement management system, which was one of the largest on the West Coast, as well as supporting many fueling and tank projects since the mid-'80s at LAX. Additionally, support directly to some of the airlines and Delta Airlines for their terminal transition project at LAX. And then outside of more of the aviation business, we've been a program manager for a multi-billion-dollar program here at SDG&E, as well as a couple of other large utilities here in California. And we do work with other clients, obviously, in NAVFAC, the Port of San Diego, City of San Diego, NRG, and really worked with multiple renewable developers in the region. So very diverse team that supports really across the business lines.
Thank you. What do you presently specialize at the San Diego Airport?
So right now our team is full design service. So we are supporting many parts from the airfield, terminals, landside, facilities, commercial fueling, a number of things. But the primary focus for San Diego Airport today is our $200 million design build fueling program that we're supporting. And we do have a few small businesses that we are partnering with on that fueling program. Obviously, there's a number of other opportunities in the aviation side outside of just the San Diego Airport that we see. And that includes the overall terminal expansion, as was mentioned. Obviously, T1 expansion or new T1 is a huge project and we're part of developing some opportunities there. There's the LAX Terminal 9 United Airlines Star Alliance Design Build project. We have the LAX ATMP Landside Civil Design Build project, the Ontario Airport Runway Construction project, and then up at SFO, the Central Utility Plant Design Build project. And then we have the Hollywood Burbank Airport Terminal Replacement Program, which is design build, which we have a partner in place for. So many opportunities. Obviously, T1 here at San Diego Airport is a massive multi-billion-dollar project that we're excited to support in many different ways.
Great. And what other aviation ops that may require the SBE support? So the small business support.
So I think the ones I mentioned, I think the San Diego new terminal, we talked about that. Again, there's the LAX opportunities, the Ontario opportunity and the SFO opportunity, as well as Hollywood Burbank. Those are obviously the aviation opportunities. We continue to partner with small businesses outside of aviation as well. And so again, the large programs we have with SDG&E is one of our largest programs, and SCE, we continue to find opportunities. So as we have opportunities, we've got many small business partners that we work with for those projects.
Thank you. And what is Burns and McDonnell's approach on utilizing small and diversity businesses?
So we understand the importance of small businesses to our local communities and local economy. We've spent over $500 million in small diverse businesses in 2020 alone, and over $2.4 billion in the last 5 years. And it's something we're very proud of. We understand the need in helping these businesses build. It's far exceeded the diverse business goals for our San Diego-based clients and projects, in particular for SDG&E, where again, we have one of our largest bases of small business partnerships. Additionally, we received a number of awards for our small business support. So the Sempra Energy Supplier of the Year Award in 2019, the Women in Transportation Diversity Leadership Award, the San Diego Regional Chamber of Commerce Veteran Honor Roll Award as well. So a number of awards for our team. Again, we're very proud of how much we've supported our local small businesses.
Great, thank you. And what advice would you give a small and diverse firm to work with you?
So obviously there's many things for us, but I think we always focus on understanding the needs and wants of our clients. For us, again, it's not just about compliance, it's about developing, a robust network of diverse firms and really our relationships with those firms. We want to really build and maintain those relationships long-term. So we are looking for long-term partnerships so we can maximize our capacity in building and mentoring these small businesses. Again, for us, this is bigger than just finding a small business to support a project. We like to help mentor, and we have very detailed programs to help mentor these small businesses. Some other things, making sure that we're registered or that you're registered with the San Diego Airport and other major procurement resources, so that we can refer to this list when we inquire from these potential clients. So make sure that you're on those lists to partner with, and obviously continue to seek out, participate in capacity building forums such as this one. This is very important. You need to know what's happening within the contracting and procurement communities. Make use of resources such as AGC San Diego, Veterans in Business San Diego, PTAC San Diego, San Diego Chamber of Commerce. These are all incredible ways to make sure that you're aware of the opportunities within the local market.
Great, thank you. Thank you for sharing all that great information and very helpful for all our attendees. Christine, do we have any questions?
We have one question submitted. The question is, since this is a design firm, will they be open to having a small architecture and design firm on their team? This team or company has done several projects at SFIA?
That's a great question, and absolutely. So a lot of what we subcontract out is obviously portions of that is a construction side, but a lot of it is the engineering side of the business. And in particular on the architecture side, we see that obviously local architects that understand the region or understand the local market and how to design for a particular client is definitely an advantageous thing as well. And so we absolutely have many partners that are pure design, whether it's architecture or otherwise. Definitely something that we see as a huge part of our small business partnerships.
We have another question in regards to whether there are any mentor protege opportunities and whether your company is looking to partner up with a small prime contractor.
So I think, as I mentioned, one of our key things is the mentoring programs that we have in place. If it's the right opportunity for both us and for our potential small business partner, absolutely, we'd like to leverage those mentoring programs that we've put in place to help our partners succeed. Our overall motto is making our clients successful. That's clients, that's employees, that's partners, that's across the board, making us all successful. So we're on board with that for the right opportunity to partner with the right potential small business.
Another follow-up question to that is, what is a good opportunity to match a small prime contractor for your firm?
So it all depends. It depends the skills that prime contractor brings to the project. For us, we're always trying to fill in and make the strongest team. And if it's an area that we're strong, we may or may not have a need for the partnership. But again, it's really opportunity by opportunity that we evaluate. I think the biggest thing I'd suggest for the person asking the questions is get to know our team. We're very relationship based. And so I think getting to know the individuals that make the decisions on each project, on who we partner with, making sure you know those people, and obviously get in the mix and show your capabilities and where you may fit into some of the opportunities that are coming. There are endless opportunities out there. I'll say there's a lot of opportunity that again, we're going to need partnerships to support.
Okay, and we have a couple of companies that want to know if there are opportunities in these several areas. One would be, does your company utilize construction progress visual documentation mapping services on a regular or semi-regular basis?
So we do have a visual construction completion system that we have developed for many of our clients. And so I guess it would all depend on the need for a particular client, but we do see opportunities there. Absolutely. We know that's a key part of the successful construction of these large mega projects is the visualization of construction and construction progress. So again, I say that's one of those things that very specifically, I don't have a particular one that I could throw out there today. But we, as an example, this is outside of the aviation side. Again, SDG&E, one of our largest clients here, has procured our visualization software to execute the large programs that we've done for them, hundreds of miles of transmission projects. And so we know the value and see the need, but a particular opportunity, I couldn't give that to you here offhand from an aviation perspective. But I definitely could follow up. So I'd say reach out to me and we can see how there may be an opportunity to partner.
Yes, it's wonderful.
So one other thing I want to mention, if there are any more questions, I'm obviously open to any questions this group would have. We do have a California Diverse Business Manager here in California. Again, very important thing as part of our business. And so we've identified a person that has taken on this role in Chamberlain Duru. Fantastic. I know we'd love to connect with this group as we see opportunities and start to build those relationships and see how we can partner. So again, we can provide that information to those that are interested and get you connected with Chamberlain.
Great, thank you, Justin. And a reminder to everyone, we have business matchmaking tomorrow, and that is a great opportunity to meet and network face-to-face virtually with the prime contractors participating in this panel as well. So as you are receiving information, do take great notes and bring those questions also to the team. Maria, now you can go ahead and take over. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Christine. And now I want to welcome Eric.
Hi, Maria.
1 minute. Hi, good morning, Eric. Please introduce yourself.
Hi. Well, my name is Eric Balmers, Outreach Manager with Clark Construction. I am definitely excited to be a part of the panel this year again, and excited to hopefully answer all the questions thoroughly and competently for all contractors, with the ultimate goal of hopefully giving you all repetitive work with Clark or an opportunity to work with us.
Great. And Eric, I don't know if you want to mention some of your new staff that might be able to also, I guess you're bringing in new staff into the San Diego area. So you might want to just mention their names so that way people are aware of those names.
Absolutely. So we are expanding the outreach and compliance team, not only in San Diego, but our LA area as well, as we are, being successful in acquiring new jobs, and all these jobs having small business and compliance requirements. So with that being said, we have Ana Gutierrez, who is physically stationed in San Diego, who will be assisting with project compliance, reporting, and getting acquainted with all the small business and other diverse businesses that work on our projects. In addition to Suzanne Ives, who will be our director for the department, overseeing, making sure that all the projects in San Diego and LA are meeting and exceeding all the requirements. So post this, if you all want any contact information for both Anna and or Suzanne, I will more than gladly supply to you all.
Great, thank you, Eric. So now let's get started. How do you pre-qualify, or how does someone pre-qualifies with Clark Construction?
So it's a two-step process. The first process is going to our website, and that's clarkextranet.com. And there you're going to fill all your financials, your safety record, and all pretty much the basic general profile information on your company. How long have you been in business? Generally, we like to look at someone who's been in business a minimum of in operations for 3 years. You fill out the profile, we get a generated email, myself and a pre-construction coordinator, the pre-con coordinator in Irvine, and we look at all your information, making sure that that information is thorough and complete to get you pre-qualified to working with Clark Construction. Once you fill out the subcontractor qualification application form, we share this information to all of our project teams. So I'll, for example, get a call from our team members at one of our UCSD projects or one of our GSA projects on the border there, like Tijuana. Eric, we're looking for a concrete sub who is small business, who is also woman-owned and preferably hub zone, right? So one of our first areas internally that we go to look at is the Clark internal subcontract qualification application database, and do a thorough search and then make recommendations to the project teams. So again, that's clarkextranet.com, and that's clarkextranet.com.
Great, Eric. And what about if I'm a small business, but I don't have all my tax returns in order? Can I still apply and be pre-qualified?
Absolutely. If you want to fill out, you can fill out the Clark qualification application with your previous tax returns, previous financials. Now, what we would highly recommend is once you've been in our database, we always, sometime in July, we open up your pre-qualification applications. You can make any updated information, profile information, if it's address, phone number, point of contact, and including your financials tax return. Because obviously with your tax returns, we look at pretty much the last 3 financial years and seeing at your gains and your profits in the company, making sure that, you're not likely to go under and you're not likely to be a risk for a general contractor such as Clark, in our case. So yes, we definitely don't discourage you from filling that out. Fill that out with all the information that you have on hand, even if it's last year's previous information, and we can always open up an IT ticket and update your financials.
Great, thank you. And how does Clark have a program or classes that can assist small businesses?
That's a great question, Maria. We do, and I would safely assume that many of the participants, the 100+ participants on this call, some are either in our current cohort or have graduated from our previous cohort, and that's Clark Strategic Partnership Program. We call it SPP in short. It is a 9-month style course for subcontractors, any subcontractors, small, minority, women-owned, hub-zone, veteran-owned, small disadvantaged business, MBEs, minority-owned businesses. And what we do is you start the courses late September. We graduate in May. It's a commitment of 9 months, like I said, and every Thursday around from 6 to about 9 p.m. It's about 4 hours, depending on the course, but we do cover everything from licensing, bonding, insurance, estimating, blueprint, marketing, how to market your business, capability statements, project management. We have safety. So the majority of the classes that we offer, part of the SPP program, are by internal Clark experts. So you got project managers, senior project managers, project executives, and then we also have outside consultants for the bonding and insurance come in and give you tools and knowledge really to just build and expand your business.
Great, that's wonderful. In addition to SBEs, what other firms do you guys look for?
So we encourage, thank you, Maria. We encourage all participation, small businesses being, obviously, I want to say that one takes precedence over the other, but we want to make sure that we are building small businesses and hopefully get them to grow into being large businesses, right? That's the whole point why we all work, and small businesses starting the business and wanting to grow and expand. But we look at the participation of MBEs, minority business enterprises, women-owned, small disadvantaged business, DBEs, a disadvantaged business enterprise, veteran-owned small businesses, service disabled, and hub zone businesses. And that's a mouthful, and you may or may not know all the acronyms of what they stand for, but that's what myself and other counterparts who may work at the other construction GCs can help and facilitate getting and acquiring these certifications, whether if it's through Metro or through LAWA or the Regional Hispanic Chamber, whoever these certifying agencies may be. We're here to help you through that process, because ultimately we want to make sure that by building small businesses, hub zone, women-owned, service disabled, our goal is, yes, we want you to work with Clark, but in the end of the day, you build up your business and you get a contract with Sunt, McCarthy, Hensel Phelps. We congratulate you and wish you the best, because ultimately we're building the construction industry as a whole. And with that, we have to be diverse and encourage and solicit participation from all classifications.
Great, thank you, Eric. And does a firm have to be a signatory to a specific union to be able to work for Clark?
That is a great question. That is a question that comes up a lot right now as I'm working with Los Angeles Airports, LAX, and a lot of the aviation sector works similar with, you don't have to be signatory to a specific union. If the job is a union-based project and it has a PLA or a PSA on the job, project labor agreement, project stabilization agreement, as long as we can finalize a union work assignment for your scope or scopes of work, we can then dispatch workers if needed on a case-by-case basis to the project. So for example, if you have a roofing company, we're going to make sure that you're tied to the correct union and you say, hey, Eric, we need 4 more workers, we can work with you and the union that's assigned to your scope of work and dispatch 4 additional workers. But you don't have to be a signatory. If you're signatory, we do need that information up front. That way, when we set up the job, we know that we're setting you up for success.
Interesting. So what you're saying, a small business doesn't have to be part of the union. They could just pull employees from the union hall.
Yeah, because some of them are become signatory throughout the process, but you do not have to be signatory to that specific union to dispatch local workers or workers from the union for your scope of work.
Great, good to know. Thank you, Eric. And Christine, do we have any questions?
Yes, we have quite a few questions. One question, are there any design build opportunities?
Yes, we have multiple design build opportunities. As of right now, on top of my head, I cannot think of some San Diego-based active ones, but we have some LAX. If you do work at LAWA or have done work in the Los Angeles greater market, make sure you take down my phone number there on screen or email, and email me specifically, and I can let you know what opportunities we have for design build. And with the design build, obviously we hire an architect, a principal architect to do the design phase. Once the design phase, then we go into the construction, traditional trades and scopes of work to build the project. So feel free to email me or give me a call.
Great. Would you mind repeating the URL for filling out the applications for subcontractors, etc.?
Absolutely. It's Clark, C-L-A-R-K, extranet, extranet.com.
Thanks, Eric. What about financial services such as property and casualty, workers' comp, surety bonds, employee benefits, etc.?
All of that information, based on the question, we can assist you all with setting up the project. For example, if you are a small business and you're setting up the project, we can set you up in our software and let you know all the requirements that the job requires when it comes to payroll issues or the software may be used. For example, we use B2G now. I don't know if a lot of you are familiar with it. We can set you up specifically with the job and the job requirements for the job, and then we help oversee and monitor, making sure that you're in compliance with the job when it comes to payroll. A lot of this is internal with your, if I'm understanding the question correctly, a lot of this information is internal based on how your firm operates. But on a project standpoint, we will make sure that, that we're paying our subcontractors on time so that you can pay your workers on time and be in compliance for the client.
Excellent. Another question we have, do you find having a current overhead rate an issue with your subcontractors?
For example, I'm assuming it's like an established current overhead rate. No, that overhead rate is going to vary, obviously, from contractor to contractor and scope of work to scope of work. We generally find, for example, if you are in the drywall trade, we'll find that the general overall rate is similar, right? Give or take. So it has not become an issue if you are bidding and it's between you and another contractor. We will communicate with you and let you know, hey, you're within this amount. Are you able to work with us? And then you can or can't or not adjust your overhead rate. That's a business decision made internally. But Clark does all that we can do best and communicate, where you stand competitively and then decide if you increase or you reduce your rate.
Eric, and what is Clark's position regarding sustainability frameworks?
Honestly, that is a great question that I would like to honestly answer competently and confidently. I would have to direct that to our director of sustainability because I feel like they're going to give you a more thorough and comprehensive answer that I can give you now. So if you could please do me a favor, I'm not quite sure who submitted that question. If you could submit that question to my email there, eric.balmers@clarkconstruction.com, and I will commit to getting that over to our sustainability department.
Wonderful. For smaller bid packages like Division 28 electronic security systems, does Clark typically rely on electrical contractors to sub out low voltage work, or are there direct opportunities with Clark construction projects?
That is a great question. When it comes to electrical work, I'd have to say the majority of our work comes in a bundle. So we're not necessarily separating high voltage to low voltage and any accessories or anything underneath the low voltage. However, every job is unique. Because of that, every scope may be unique in as far as the needs. I have seen us award and break down electrical scope so many times, and I've also seen it awarded in one big bundle. So it really is going to depend on the project specifics and the nature of the project. So I would definitely not discourage, if you carry only low voltage or a segment of low voltage, don't let that discourage you from pursuing and bidding a project, because there are a lot of ways I have seen, creative ways to maximize participation. So how this ties in back to small businesses, if we're able to break down a trade multiple times and getting lower tiered contractors and gaining small business or women-owned or hub zone, right? If it's not a federal job, because a federal job, we only get credit on the first tier. But if it's a private job, we're workable and we can break that down as much as we need to maximize participation and really leverage the playing field for everyone, and hopefully giving everyone a piece of the pie.
Great, thanks, Eric. Some of Clark's requirements may exclude a startup business from doing business with Clark, such as 3 years of financials. Would Clark be willing to award small portions of work to limit Clark's fear of a business not completing the work?
That's an awesome question. That's going to be on a case-by-case basis, and that's above my pay scale when it comes to project executives, vice presidents, and senior people within the organization at Clark to make those decisions, because we have seen businesses and firms, contractors in business less than 3 years and have been stellar, and they've been not an issue. They have performed and delivered on time within the budget that was, given and projected. So I'd have to say I've seen people who've under 3 years perform better than someone who's been in business for 7 years, right? So I would say definitely take my contact information. If you have a specific service or trade that you're speaking of, I can definitely connect you with any possible opportunities that we have in the greater San Diego area.
Thank you, Eric. With all the questions that are unanswered, please do contact Eric and their team. We will now be moving on to the next panelist. Back to you, Maria.
Thank you, Eric, and let's move on. Next, we have Hanny and Jeff with Jacobs. So good morning to both. And let's go ahead and start with some of the questions. What type of emerging services do you see owners requesting in the implementation of aviation projects?
Great. Thanks, Maria. Thanks for having Jacobs here today. Just to briefly provide some background both on myself and then allow Jeff to do the same, and then we'll go ahead and answer the first question. No problem. I'm the San Diego office leader for Jacobs. Our office is downtown San Diego. And we have about 118 staff members locally. And just as a note about kind of the firm, Jacobs as a whole, we're the #1 ENR design firm in the top 500 for the 4th consecutive year. So we're a large firm with about 55,000 employees. And we really focus on planning to design, construction management to asset management, and financial advisory to operational readiness services. So we're one of the top aviation firms in the country. And with that, I'll have Jeff, who is one of our aviation principals, introduce himself as well too.
Yeah, thanks, Annie. Good morning, everyone. Jeff Sedlak, aviation principal with Jacobs. Currently, I'm supporting our efforts all up and down the West region. We call it the I-5 corridor, but currently working on projects at SeaTac up in the Northwest, as well as supporting our team down here in San Diego. Ranging from all services, as Hanny mentioned, from planning to design to construction management, program management. And so we're always looking for key sub-consultant partners to work with. And we've garnered great benefit from establishing and developing those relationships. And sometimes some of the best opportunities that we've found have been brought to us by our subcontracting partners. So really excited to be here today and looking forward to the one-on-one discussions tomorrow. So thanks for having us.
Thank you both. And now if we can move on to your questions. Sorry about that. So again, what type of emergent services do you see owners requesting in the implementation of aviation projects?
Jeff, you want to take the lead on that?
Yeah, you bet. So I think right now, one of the emerging services that we're seeing throughout aviation is operational readiness and airport transfer, or ORAT for short. And so we're always looking for partners who bring either direct airport experience or airline experience on the operations side, that know the ins and outs of how to operate an airport, specifically a terminal building or security checkpoint, so that you can help assist clients with getting the facilities ready to open on day one, because we want to make the news for a celebration and not for a baggage handling system going belly up, for example. So that's one emerging service that we're looking at. And then I would say before COVID, we were seeing a merge of the hospitality industry with the aviation industry. That's kind of shifted over the last year and a half, 2 years, to emerging of the healthcare industry with the aviation industry. As sad as that is, there have been lots of opportunities to provide testing centers, medical facilities, clinics throughout terminals across the globe. So those are probably the more unique emerging services that we're seeing across the market. Thanks.
Great. If you could highlight one project, which project would you like to highlight, and what makes that project unique?
Yeah. Well, I would like to say we're very proud of the opportunities we've had to work at San Diego International Airport over the years. You know, we're currently working on the phase 1 of the airport development program today, primarily leading the design of all the airfield design services. So the terminal apron, taxiways, overnight parking, lighting, signage, utilities, and stormwater capture and reuse. And so that's a program that we've been very proud of, and we selectively actually teamed with small and mid-sized firms to help deliver that program. And so that's one area that's been really key and important to us. Another big program is the program at LAWA, where we've had significant small business utilization. And Jeff, maybe you can expand on kind of the small business utilization we've had on that contract today.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a tailor-made example for today's session, right? Mm-hmm. So we've had a large PMCM contract with LAWA supporting, I think, 6 different capital programs at LAX since the end of 2016. Their RFP document required 20% participation. In our proposal, we pledged 30% participation, and we have to date over the last 4.5 years successfully delivered 40% small business participation. So we at Jacobs, we value those partnerships, as I mentioned before, and we do not hoard work as the prime contractor. We try to apply the best athlete forward mentality when we have a large PMCM contract. So if your firm is one person, but you're the best person for the project, we're going to use you and we're going to assign you with the end goal of taking care of our clients. So that's what we've been doing at LAX to help deliver the what will become the largest consolidated rental car facility in the world, as well as supporting other portions of their LAMP program, airfield program, and their terminal development program. So we're really proud of the outreach and participation that we've garnered on that contract.
Great, thank you, Jeff. You touched a little bit about the projects that you are delivering in San Diego, but what about across the country that that might be of interest to the small business attendees that we have today?
Yeah, great. You know, I have oversight over many of the San Diego projects, and we're proud to be engaged in some of the biggest programs in San Diego. We touched on San Diego Airport and the big airfield program as part of the Terminal 1 replacement, but also there's other big programs where we've outreach to small businesses here locally in San Diego. The Mid-Coast program, where we have significant subcontractor participation on the Mid-Coast light rail extension to UTC. Land ports of entry, both at San Ysidro and at Otay Mesa East. We're just starting up on the big Pure Water program with the city of San Diego, and there's opportunities there. You know, we have a very large military practice as well too, and which is a really important practice in the San Diego region. I think Jeff can touch upon some of the larger programs that we're doing on the aviation side, but I will touch on one also large program in the larger Southern California area, which is, you know, the upcoming LA 2028 Olympics, where Jacobs has been supporting many host cities in the development of their programs, such as the London 2012 Olympics and dating back both summer and winter Olympics. So there definitely will be opportunities with that program as well. But maybe Jeff, you can touch upon some of the aviation programs across the country.
Yeah, so in addition to, you know, Annie, what you mentioned down right here in San Diego on the airfield design program, which quick plug, we're really excited for the authority with the bids that came in at the end of last week on that $250 million airfield contract. They were all tightly bunched. You got 7 bids, which was a really encouraging sign for the market. Sorry to our contracting partners on the call. Sounds like competition is heating up, but that's good for owners. So we're excited for you and for that. But yeah, I mentioned the large program at LAX that we're supporting, but we're also recently selected for 2 large PMCM contracts at Seattle Tacoma International Airport. We're helping deliver the new global terminal and redevelopment program in Chicago. We're finishing up our program management assignment at LaGuardia, and we got opportunities down in Florida, Texas, and Denver is also a pretty hot market for us on both the terminal design side, airfield design side, and then we're helping with the Great Hall redevelopment in Denver. And then for some of our more adventurous partners on the call, you know, we've got opportunities going in Poland, Changi, as well as a new second airport in Manila. So if anybody's interested in world travel at the tail end of a pandemic, feel free to reach out to us. So a lot going on.
Sounds like it. That's great news. What do you guys look for in sub-consultants partners?
Okay, well, I'll share my opinion or view of that, and then Jeff will as well too, because in addition to kind of our roles with the company, obviously we also take on project management and principal roles on contracts. We'll also lead mentoring programs as well. So personally, what I look for, and I think what we look for a lot with Jacobs is, you know, responsiveness, you know, quality delivery. I think safety, you know, safety records, and making sure that that mirrors some of the principles that Jacobs has, again, focus on safety and quality. We're always looking to develop sort of long-term partnerships with our small business partners. We want it to extend beyond just that one project or that one opportunity. And so many times you'll see us participating in mentor protege programs where, we take on 12 to 18 month mentoring assignments with small businesses. And then the plan is for that to continue on and be a long-term relationship. So we want to build that because I think those become key in terms of the delivery of projects. Specialty services, I think maybe Jeff will touch upon that a little bit, but on a lot of our contracts, there's always areas where we kind of always go to small businesses for different roles. So let Jeff touch on that. And then I think like was mentioned, agency knowledge and having the best, resource who is ready to deliver, those become really important because we're always at the end of the day trying to make sure we deliver the best product for our clients. And so, we're looking for small business partners who have sort of that the agency or institutional knowledge to be part of our teams as well. So Jeff, want to give your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think one of the key things that we look for at least that I look for in subcontracting partners is relationships, relationships between Jacobs and the firm, as well as between our subcontracting partners and the client or other authorities having jurisdiction. Because, when you get right down to it, all the firms on the call today are qualified to do the work, but it's the relationships and the trust that you develop with clients and, with us and with other prime firms that really help you get the work done. The other thing I look for personally is people that are fun to work with, because over the last year and a half, we've all been staring at computer screens. And so we might as well have a good time doing it. And if we're going to be, when we get back to traveling for projects, if we're going to be away from our family, I want to have a good time doing it. And I want to enjoy the people we're working with. And, I'm sure everyone on this call's heard the old adage that your work family becomes your second family or first family, depending on how many hours you're working. So really, for me, I value relationships and, your commitment to the project and whether or not you've delivered over the years. And so, Hanny, I think you mentioned some of the trades or
yes,
expertise that we typically use. I mean, a lot of times we look for geotechnical engineering firms, electrical engineering firms. I mean, we provide that service in-house as well, but a lot of times our small business or subcontracting partners have the direct local knowledge of the facility or the site. We also use sub-consultants for specialty work, like security systems, IT integration, pretty much the full gamut, including sometimes safety management and then the ORAT services I was talking about earlier. Thanks.
Great. And so if I'm a small business, what does a business, if a small business wants to do business with you guys, what is the process?
Okay, great. Well, I'd say that I look at it as sort of a multiple step process. I would say, being at today's event, that's perfect. That's one of the steps. I'd say one of the first primary steps. So you have our contact information here. Reach out to us. Obviously, we've got the matchmaking tomorrow. I know both Jeff and I think Ron Siki tomorrow have scheduled meetings with different firms. I think that's, step one. We're always out and about. You'll find Jacobs out at events. I think we've got staff today at the CMAA San Diego Meet the Primes event as well too. So, interact with our staff members there. There you'll find some of our construction management professionals and get an opportunity to meet them. So I think that's always good. I think, mentor protege programs, locally in San Diego, we've mentored over 10 small businesses through the Cal Mentor San Diego program. another way to develop that relationship and partner with Jacobs. Again, working together through a mentor-protege relationship, but hopefully extending beyond that into a longer-term relationship. I will want to touch on just one thing, which is last year with all the sort of social justice issues, Jacobs actually took kind of leadership of that by developing sort of an action plan. They called it the Action Plan for Advancing Justice and Equality. And you can go to Jacobs' website, www.jacobs.com. And there you'll find information about the action plan. But we committed $10 million to making things more equitable for individuals, but businesses as well. And part of that plan is that Jacobs will also be increasing its purchasing of work from small and disadvantaged businesses. So I'd say take a look at that as an opportunity. And the last thing I wanted to mention here is the the portal for Jacobs. And you can see the web link here, www.jacobs.com/contact/suppliers. Go to that. That's one of the primary steps to doing work through Jacobs, which is a program called Ariba. We go through and you get basically pre-qualified on a yearly basis to do work with Jacobs. And it's mostly a risk assessment tool to, again, make sure that the values of that company are consistent with, the values, that Jacobs has and responsibility to owners and agencies, and it looks at more like ethics, worker welfare, et cetera. And those become important for you to be able to do work with Jacobs. So, Jeff, do you want to add anything to that from things that you think they could do?
Yeah, sure. Just a couple points to add on to that. I think doing the pre-qualification is a key step, because there are a lot of times where in some of the larger programs that I mentioned, if a client comes to us with a pretty obscure need, and we may go to that Ariba system to see who's pre-qualified just for the path of least resistance. Let's just be honest. So if you're in there and pre-qualified, you're going to show up in that search window, let's call it, for active contracts for, fairly rapid deployment. And then the second thing I would say about doing business with Jacobs is if you're interested in getting into another market, let's say you're typically highway, but you want to get into aviation or vice versa, or a different geography, either throughout the US or globally, and somebody, nearby in Jacobs, just ask them, express your interest, let them know, and they'll put up a flare within the larger Jacobs network. And usually within, 1 or 2 emails or phone calls, we can get you connected to the right market sector contact or the right geographic contact to help grow your business wherever you're looking to go. So that's what I would add, Henny.
Great, thanks.
Great, thank you. And remember, trust and relationships is the key component of this whole purpose of this event. So make sure that you always make those a key priority. Do we have any questions, Christine?
We do have quite a few questions. We are left with about 2 minutes for our panelists that are currently on right now. First question. Jacobs, Hanny, Jeff, for the San Diego region and California wide, do you anticipate the need for project management office support, financial forecasting, etc.? And if so, please talk about what you're looking for in terms of the size of the supporting team.
Yeah, PM services is a key area that we focus on at Jacobs. I know the San Diego region right now is looking at a big sales tax measure to fund major transportation improvements. So we have a program management contract with Sandag, where we would be looking at opportunities to partner with firms that provide a variety of PM type services. Jeff, do you want to say something to some of the aviation programs?
Yeah, so aviation-wide in California, the LAWA contract I mentioned, that will be coming up for recompete here in the next 2 years. I think in terms of the financial side and the forecasting, sometimes they procure that separate from where Jacobs will submit. but we would be happy to talk about it and keep you in the loop for opportunities there. San Jose is going to be restarting their program here in the next year or so. So there will be a PMO opportunity there. I think Justin earlier mentioned the runway program that Burns & Mac is designing at Ontario. So there will be an opportunity to support the implementation of that program as well. So there are a few aviation opportunities around the market. So we'd be happy to look at talking about that and teaming.
Great. And some attendees would like to know if there are opportunities in cybersecurity insurance, employee health benefits, other risk protections, and whether or not your company would involve suppliers that typically sell to subs to be involved on your end for engineered products.
Yeah, you know, so we do have a company supplier manager. I think, you know, tomorrow I'll be at the matchmaking event. You know, if the individual who asked that question would like to meet with me tomorrow, I can try to get some additional information for them on that. I think primarily Jeff and I are mostly focused on, you know, program delivery, on the program delivery side, but it's something we can look into.
Great. And does your team have an interior design team by any chance?
We do. So, you know, one of the areas we didn't cover so much here today was our buildings practice. So we call it our built environment practice. And so we are one of the top interior design firms in the country. And so we do utilize that service. And again, I think Jeff mentioned earlier, one of the key things, Jacobs is a large firm. We have about 55,000 employees, but you know, when you do reach out to us, it's usually 1 or 2 or 3 emails, phone calls. You know, we end up linking you up with the right individuals there. So we would link you up to some of our leaders in the interior design side.
Thank you, Hanny. And lastly, are all your projects PLA or union?
Jeff, do you want to speak to this?
Yeah, I mean, I would say a majority of them are, especially in California, but that's really, from our perspective, a client-driven decision. A majority of our aviation clients are on the private or on the public side. We do work for airlines occasionally, and I would say that the PLA pendulum seems to shift back and forth every 4 years, depending on which party's at the White House. But I think right now we're seeing more PLAs than not, from my perspective.
Excellent. Thank you both. Maria, back to you.
Thank you, Christine. And thank you to both of Hanny and Jeff for your participation this morning.
Thank you.
You bet. Thanks.
So next we have Patrick and Shane from PCL. Welcome, Patrick. And would you like to introduce yourself and your team?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Maria. And thanks everybody for attending. I'm Patrick Goforth. I'm a design and pre-construction manager with PCL Construction. It's great getting a chance to talk with you all here today. We're excited about the event and the chance to meet with everybody and connect and hopefully find some future opportunities to work together on. Here with me today is also Shane Lundeberg, who is our pre-qualification manager. Shane, if you just want to say hi to everybody.
Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Shane Lundeberg. Again, as you said, I'm the pre-qualification coordinator. I'm not the aviation principal, as it looks like the slide says. And my email is cabprequal. It should be a Q at pcl.com. Yeah, but I'll talk to you all a little bit later.
Awesome. Thank you, Shane.
Great. Thank you. So let's say, let's start with who are you, PCL Construction, who are you and what do you build?
Sure. To give you guys a little bit of insight about PCL, we're a 100% employee-owned company. We're listed as number 9 on the ENR top contractor list. kind of like an annual volume of $8 billion in the United States. And we have offices all across the United States, Canada, and Australia. Here in California, we've got offices in Los Angeles, Orange County, and of course, here in San Diego. In general, we tend to focus in markets for aviation, education, government. We do a lot in sports and entertainment, as well as life sciences, and we get into mixed use projects as well. You know, these kind of projects are also spread across different delivery methods, such as design, bid, build, and full integrated project deliveries. Currently in like aviation up in LA, where we recently completed the LAX MSC Midfield Satellite Concourse facility. We're currently working up there on the Alaska terminal, as well as the Conrack Consolidated Rental Car facility. You know, here in San Diego, we've been building for almost 20 years. You know, we worked on the Terminal 2 Green Build project for the San Diego Airport Authority, as well as the International Arrivals facility here at the airport. Recently, we've also completed the El Corazon Aquatics facility up in Oceanside. We've got a few projects working in higher education, such as UCSD, Center for Coastal Studies and Marine Conservation. And then we do a lot of work with schools and community colleges. You know, a little bit ago, we completed the historical Balboa renovation, rehabilitation. And then currently we also have a few government projects, which we're working with the County of San Diego, including the Southeastern Live Well Center. You know, in addition to those, we also have a specific special projects division, which handles projects that are kind of under $20 million. And this kind of division would be of particular interest to a lot of the small businesses that we're talking to here today, because it's a great way to get your foot in the door with us. But thank you.
Great, thank you, Patrick. Does PCL have formal programs for small and diverse businesses?
Yeah, absolutely. So both here in Los Angeles, we've developed strong DEI programs. Those are currently led by a lovely person, Kyla Montgomery. She acts as our primary liaison with the small and diverse business community. She works hand in hand with people like myself, who are on the project management team to kind of create, plan, execute, and deliver on the business inclusion goals, kind of based on what the project is going to be looking for. We've managed to create a database of thousands of small and diverse businesses across Southern California, and outreach systems that we use to help tailor our plans to specific project goals. Those goals could range across the different projects and could be, 50% of the cost for a project coming from XBEs, like we see on a lot of our San Diego Unified School District projects. Large projects such as the Conrack facility, which wants to have a large amount of the $1.1 billion budget to come from XBEs and has separate goals for inclusion of local workers. Commitments to hiring new apprentices from local communities and working with pre-apprenticeship programs. And the examples, like I spoke of earlier, with the County of San Diego and the Live Well project, in which the County of PCL made a commitment to spend basically 10% of the project budget coming from a set of targeted zip codes that are in direct proximity to the project, as well as goals to hiring the majority of the project workers and staff from those zip codes, coming from that like adjacent community. And then kind of, as you know, like a lot of this is centered around the industry. The industry is really developing, and we're expecting to see, really more of these requirements and goals being put onto projects as a means to utilize construction projects in general as economic uplifters for the communities in which they're built. And as such, we want to make sure that we're building those relationships with small and local contractors, as well as to educate and develop not only them, but us and the owner community as well, just so that we can all work to improve.
Great. What would you say is the single most important quality for a small and diverse business?
It's funny because I think it's been mentioned here before as well, but it's definitely relationship building and relationship management. You know, the saying people do business with people that they like and that they trust is very true. At the end of the day, our business is built on trusting people. And when building projects for clients such as the San Diego Airport Authority or San Diego Unified or the County of San Diego or a lot of our other private clients, it's predicated on the fact that they trust that we will deliver the project, you know, on time, on schedule, you know, on budget and as safely as possible. And, you know, we're expecting the same things from our partners and our subcontractors and our vendors. But I would say that, you know, and add that that trust and those relationships go both ways. Our subcontractors that we're partnering with and that we're bringing on board of the projects are also expecting us as the GC to manage the project well and in a way that allows them the opportunity to not only do good work and go home safe, but also to operate efficiently and, you know, hopefully everybody gets to make a profit at the same time. You know, what I would say is that those relationships, you know, aren't built in a day. They come from previous successes, and they're built on a history of working together and collaboration and working together on, you know, multiple projects. And so we're always looking to start to build those new relationships. And sometimes those are done on big projects, and, you know, a lot of times those are done on small projects. And as I said, like when we were talking earlier about just our special projects division, that's a great way to get a foot in the door and to start building that relationship on something that, you know, everybody has an opportunity to compete into and get into.
Great information on that program. It's great for attendees to pay attention to that, because I know that that's usually a good way to get their foot in. So great, thank you. If a small business has never done work with PCL, where would you advise them to start?
Okay, yeah, that's a great question, because like I said, we're always looking for new partners, be they designers, subcontractors, vendors, you know, or alternate primes that are coming into a project to help to grow and to help to manage a project. To that end, I mean, reaching out to us directly. You know, we've got the matchmaking sessions geared up for tomorrow. And, you know, we're always out at events in the market, bidding and budgeting projects. We're also, you know, participants and partners in a number of the different mentorship programs. So we've got a few programs here in San Diego and up in Los Angeles, and we're currently gearing up for participation in the CNC mentorship program in the next month. And then, yeah, the best way to get involved with this is to pre-qualify with us early and kind of like express the interest. And kind of on that pre-qualification topic, you know, that's, you know, Shane, who's here, is our pre-qualification coordinator. And he can talk to you a little bit about the pre-qualification process, you know, some of the supporting documents and things that are needed.
Yeah, thank you, Patrick. I'm actually going to talk to you a lot about our pre-qualification process. So yeah, I'm going to go through the who's, where's, when's, what's, whiskeys, werewolves, wascally wabbits of pre-qualification. Okay, so first, who needs to pre-qualify with us? If you are a craft performing company with a CSLB license, you'll need to pre-qualify. Or if you do surveying or security, you will need to pre-qualify. If you are a supplier and also install, you'll need to pre-qualify. Or if you supply items that are unique to the project and not available elsewhere, we'll need you to pre-qualify. Engineers, architects, consultants probably don't need to pre-qualify unless our contract with you is very large. Okay, why do you need to pre-qualify? Well, first, PCL uses subcontractor default insurance, or SDI, rather than having you provide a bond. So we bond you ourselves, and the pre-qualification helps us set up that insurance amount. When you complete the pre-qual process, you'll be added to our procurement database. We use SmartBid, and then invited to bid on our projects. You're not going to bid on our projects without pre-qualification for the most part. When it comes down to it, pre-qualification is all about managing risk. Will your company be able to finish the job? Will this job actually hurt your company? Pre-qualification helps us determine if we need to run a risk mitigation plan or not. Actually, just last week, a subcontractor put a bid in on one of our projects. We didn't have them in our system at all, didn't know them. So the estimator reached out to me, said, Shane, can you reach out to these guys or dig a little bit, see how they're doing. So I did and found out they were having a little bit of financial distress. Went back to the estimator. They reached out, like asked the guys like, hey, are you able, like, are you guys doing all right? Like, honestly, we're not doing so great right now. And you're like, well, if you win this project, will you be able to employ your employees? And they're like, we're not even sure. So we took them off of that bid. It would have hurt them. And if they would have been pre-qualified, we would have known this in advance, that they wouldn't even bothered. However, that said, I would happily pre-qualify them. We would gladly get them in our system, and again, get them on our other smaller project, like Patrick said, in our special projects division. All right, where do I pre-qualify? Good question. PCL uses Textura PQM. It's run by Oracle as its online pre-qualification platform. You have to be invited to pre-qualify. You'll be invited by Oracle. And if you already have an account with Oracle through another GC, that's great. You'll just be invited to our form. Now, Textura normally charges $60 for you to create a form, but PCL will cover that for you. So it is free to you. Just use the code WASCALI-WABIT. Not really. All right, what is involved in the pre-qualification process? A lot. We have 15 sections, but it's everything that you should have available to you. We want your company info, such as license, W-9, scope, history, etc. We're looking for financials, a couple of years, and that is 2020 or newer. We do want audited financials. If you don't have them, I'll accept interim or internal. We want your EMR and OSHA. We want references and union agreements, XPE certifications, bonding letters, banking info, firm size, project experience, etc. It's not as bad as it sounds, though. I mean, if you've pre-qualified with anybody before, you have this information, you've gone through the process. When do you need to pre-qualify? If your subcontract is over $25,000 with us, you'll need to pre-qualify before we can even sign that subcontract. Our manager of finance will not sign that subcontract unless you're pre-qualified. We do prefer to pre-qualify all of our subcontractors before you are invited to bid. Some estimators won't even invite a non-pre-qualified subcontractor to bid. But that said, pre-qualification is good for 1 year. After that year, you'll be asked to update roughly half of your information. But during that year, you can bid on any project with us in Southern California. How do you get started? Email me. Again, I put it in the chat. It's CAB Prequal, and I will contact Oracle and start. I'm hoping to get emails from a lot of you today. You'll get an email from Oracle with login info and instructions, and it's pretty self-explanatory. All right, what next? All right, so you've pre-qualified with us. What do I do now? Don't stop. Reach out to me. Say, hey, Shane, can I get some contact info from the rest of your team? I no longer need you. You're out. Nice knowing you. You're great. Probably the best. But can you please forward me to your estimators or someone I actually care about? And yes, I will. You then reach out to them, bug them, build relationships, do some jobs, do them well, get re-invited, win more projects. We love it. And as far as I go, keep your PQM updated. Reach out to me and say, hey, Shane, we just got a new bottle in it, or we just got a new certification. Tell me, and I'll keep it updated. I take care of most of the databases here. Yeah, so make sure you let me know. And yeah, as Patrick said, relationship building, frankly, as everybody said, relationship building is the most important thing for us. Yeah, that's pre-qualification at PCL. I hope you reach out to me again. My email is cabprequal, and I wrote it in the chat at pcl.com. All right.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Shane.
Yeah, thank you, Patrick.
Thank you, Patrick and Shane. And I apologize for your email. We'll correct that, Shane.
No problem.
Thank you. Christine, do we have any questions? And for our attendees, make sure, like Shane said, you know, the pre-qual might require you or will be requesting you for audited financial statements, but it's always not needed. So make sure you follow up, you ask the questions. Don't get discouraged if you're going through this pre-qual process and you say, oh, well, I don't meet those qualifications. You might meet them. You just have to ask and contact.
I will work with you. We'll get you pre-qualified regardless. PCL hired me to do this, to help you guys out. So.
Thank you, Shane. Christine, do we have any questions?
Yes, can you reiterate on where exactly a list of all open future opportunities can be found by attendees?
So we post these oftentimes within PCL on the district sites, but really the best way to do that is going to be reaching out to somebody like myself. And then we can get you the list from our estimating side on exactly what we're doing and when. To make sure. And then the other way to do it is to just like Shane said, get pre-qualified, because we'll be sending out those opportunities to everybody who's on those lists.
Great, wonderful. There's a question on whether there are opportunities for video production, such as commercials, PSA, live video on site, compliance training. Is that handled in-house, or are there any opportunities, or will you be having any type of bids for this type of opportunity?
That's really going to be, you know, kind of project specific, because sometimes we do see those in some of our larger projects. Most of the time for our typical day-to-day projects and stuff like that, we are doing most of that stuff in-house. But, you know, we are also always looking for ways to supplement our current internal skill sets. And so if we've got your contact information and we need those services, we go through our purchasing department. And so we create kind of those vendor databases of services that can be provided. And then, you know, as those needs come up on projects, we reach out to our internal purchasing department, and they've got that list that they manage, and they say, hey, you know, you guys need videos, you need commercials, you need training videos. You know, we have these 2 or 3 people who can provide that service to you. You know, here you go.
Excellent. And so with any type of opportunities, they will just contact your team, because we have some questions that are specific in asking if, say, there's a need for temporary staffing on projects such as admin related roles, general labor, or trade specific construction roles, data science, analytics, simulation as it relates to construction, and custom software development related to construction.
Yeah, so like the custom software development and stuff like that, that stuff is typically kind of on an as needed basis for specific projects. We do some of that stuff in-house ourselves, but we always look for opportunities if somebody's got good APIs or developments that we can utilize or that can help us plug into other third-party applications. We do look for those opportunities. So again, that kind of tends to go through our purchasing and our IT department. And so we look in for, if a project needs a specific solution, that's who we're reaching out. So part of that is just getting within our database as to what services you guys are providing. And then kind of as those things are needed, you know, popping up and grabbing them.
Okay. And is there any availability for professional services such as program, project management support, quality management, document management?
Yes, there are. Again, that tends to go on that project by project basis. So, you know, as we do projects at large scale, like at the airport, when we were doing the FIS facility or up at LAX, there's definitely, you know, very heavy requirements for the quality management programs. And so we do look for third-party, you know, quality managers as well as document managers to come underneath our envelope for that and join the team. And so those opportunities definitely do exist. And then, you know, we also look for other partnering opportunities for us. We're partnering on, again, the Southeast Livewell project that we're working on with a small local, contractor from that local community who's helping us to supplement, our staff with some admin and project management staff, just to have somebody from that local community to participate in the actual management of the project. So as those opportunities come up, we are absolutely always looking for those.
Okay, and does PCL purchase financial services such as PNC insurance, bonds, employee benefits?
We do purchase those. Those are generally done on an enterprise level, kind of a corporate level out of our office in Denver.
Okay, and just to clarify for the audience regarding pre-qualification, they would need to contact Shane. There isn't a specific website that they would be directed to register at, correct? Please clarify on that for everyone.
Correct. It is an invite-only website that you'll get an invitation from Oracle, but it's not difficult at all.
Great, thank you for that clarification. Now back to you, Maria.
Great, thank you. Thank you both. And always appreciate your participation. And so now we have, for our final panelists, we have Brad. Brad, good morning, and please introduce yourself.
Good morning. My name is Brad Kirsch, Project Director with Sunt Construction. I've been a employee of Sunt for over 19 years now here in the San Diego office. Sunt as a whole, just a little bit of a background. We are also a 100% employee-owned company, which means we take a lot of pride in the ownership and success as a firm overall. We were formed back in 1890, so we have some pretty good longevity. The majority of our work is done throughout the Southwest United States. However, we do work throughout the United States for specific clients and in our different divisions. I'm part of the building group with Sunt Construction. We also have an industrial group. We have a transportation group as well, and a concrete group, and we self-perform concrete in a lot of our projects. I would be remiss if I didn't also introduce Deanna Andrews. She's our small business manager here in California and also on the call. So if I don't get something correct, I'm sure if you hear somebody speak up during this presentation, it's probably Deanna making sure I get the facts straight. But she's a big help to all that we do in regards to diversity and inclusion.
You want me to introduce myself? Hi, guys.
Yes, absolutely. I was just going to ask you to do that.
Yeah, it's more like, will Deanna gas? Then you'll know I need to correct you. Hi, everybody. I've been with Sunt Construction now for 28 years. I've been working only in the last 14 years with the small business community. Been very excited about that. Have been working with the San Diego Airport, with San Diego Unified, working on various projects here in Southern California. So there's a lot of opportunities for you guys. We're going to be on the matchmaking tomorrow. So please, 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 please ask to meet with us because we want to. Go ahead,
absolutely. And just real quick, we've had a long relationship, a very positive relationship with the Airport Authority, especially when it comes to focusing on small and local business participation. And we just picked up our 4th project at the San Diego International Airport, which is the admin building. And we just wrapped up our 3rd project, which was the Airport Support Facilities project, which had great success. And very proud to report that we hit 94% local participation, 41% small business participation, 7% women business, 10% minority, and 10% DVBE. We had a total of 240 local firms and 200 small women-owned business and minority business firms on the project. So it was a great success. We appreciate the help of all of our partners to be able to build that project.
Thank you, Brad. Great numbers and what a great success. And we do appreciate the partnership. I know you guys always go beyond trying to help the small businesses. So we do appreciate it. So let's get started. How can a small minority veteran, non-trade contractor, supplier, or rental car company, professional services firms get opportunity with Sun Construction?
Real quick, before I talk about the non-trade, I'm just going to talk in general about how you get engaged with SUNT. The simplest way is to go to www.sunt, which is SUNDT.com. On there, there's a partnership page. And within the partnership page, there's two different tabs. One, if you're a subcontractor, which provides a link to our pre-qualification. The other, if you're a vendor, a service provider, or somebody in the architectural and engineer field, so that you can go get registered within SUNT. And then we have that information available to share internally and with our subcontractors when looking for participation. So that's in general how to get registered within SUNT. Now, specifically for the airport projects, we have a separate website, and I want to make sure I get this correct, so I'm going to read it. And Deanna, maybe you could type it in the notes section here, but it's www.suntsdairportprojects.com. And that will take you to our San Diego Airport webpage. It gives you a little bit of a background on the projects we completed. We're in the process of updating that right now with specific information for the admin building and upcoming opportunities. So it's a great place to go to understand more about the opportunities specific to that project, the timing, and how to get involved. Now, going back specifically to your question, so non-trade partner, there are obviously many opportunities to bid work if you provide trade and labor. But for vendors, there's a great opportunity if you go and register as a vendor. What we try to be very intentional about is, as we have projects that have inclusionary goals, we tried to share the list of our vendors with our subcontractors so that as they're bidding work, they're also looking out to the community and understanding who's out there that may be a woman-owned business, a veteran-owned business, a minority business, so that they could reach out and try to get quotes from vendors and suppliers. We also, as part of our bid packages, we set up goals within each bid package specific to the type of work of that bid package. So our subcontractors are often looking outward for vendors to include them in participation. Professional services, I think the best way to try to engage with us is try to do an introduction. The matchmaking tomorrow is a great opportunity to introduce yourself. Getting a little bit of a portfolio of what you do and your history is also a good way. Deanna often shares that amongst our directors and other people, decision makers within the company. We do a lot of design build work. Quite honestly, and being candid, on the professional service side, when we're pursuing a design build project, we're competing on qualifications against great firms like a PCL or a Clark or other. And so we're trying to put the best team possible that meets the specific requirements of that project. So many times that doesn't mean that the best participation for a small or emerging business on the professional services side may not be at the first level, but it may be at a second level. And we do have specific opportunities on most of our projects for engagement. I wanted to bring this up real quick just to remind myself. But there are a couple opportunities specific to the San Diego admin building where we're going to be looking for professional services. We have a waterproofing consultant opportunity coming up where our architect and ourselves as a contractor want a third-party opinion about looking at the exterior skin and detailing that we have to make sure that we are meeting the requirements for a completely secure waterproof building. There's also going to be testing and inspection services, structural observation. Those are all packages that we're going to be procuring in the next few months.
Great, thank you. Is there a specific contact or a buyer in your company that an XBE should talk to?
Well, for the admin building project, that would be me. And really for a lot of aviation opportunities throughout California, I'm the lead for most of those opportunities. But in general, Deanna Andrews is always a great resource. She works very hard to connect the dots and try to put people in the right position and in contact with the right people in our company.
I'd like to add something there. You did great, Brad, but I'd like to add something there. On the matchmaking tomorrow, we're gonna have project managers, people that are gonna be involved with the admin building. We're gonna have the project managers, we're gonna have project engineers, and we're gonna have the pre-construction manager and the estimator. So it's a great time to get in front of them. Again, just trying to say the matchmaking is a great opportunity to be one-on-one. We can't do those face-to-face type of things anymore, but this is the best thing. So do what you can to try and connect with that, register for the matchmaking and meet up with them. And if you want to reach out to me during that, I can send you to the right person that would best be able to answer your questions or best get you to have opportunities.
Great, thank you both. What are some of the challenges you have seen with XBE firms bidding?
I think, for me, it's on a couple different levels. We always appreciate engagement. Obviously, we had great success on all of our projects at the airport, and it's because we're trying to be intentional and finding the right place for people to participate. So I think the challenges we sometimes have are when subcontractors or vendors aren't really honest with themselves or with us about what they really do. We sometimes have a small business contractor come in and we ask them, well, what do you provide? What do you self-perform? Well, we do everything. Well, the reality is they don't do everything. They may be capable of doing everything, but in many ways they haven't. So we try to really make sure that we put subcontractors and vendors in a place where they could truly be successful on a project. A lot of the work that we do is extremely complicated, along with the work described by our competition. We want to make sure that the opportunity for success is great by putting them in the right opportunities. We do often provide coaching along the way. We're here to help, but the idea is always to start off with something that a contractor can be successful with. The other thing too is trying to get engagement at the right level. Sometimes a contractor will come in and say, gosh, I really want to bid this. Well, the reality is the best place for that contractor to engage may not be at the prime level for a subcontractor, providing electrical, but it may be as a tier to that electrical subcontractor providing a service that they're better qualified for and could do with the labor that they already have in-house. So it's trying to be realistic with that.
Very true. So now, how does the non-responsive bidder reflects themselves to the estimating team at SUNT?
That is something where, we have to be very careful of. If we give you an opportunity to bid on a project, we try to work hard to find out where somebody is qualified, to get them pre-qualified and to get them on a bid list. We don't send out bid invites to everybody in our database. We try to be very selective to what the requirements are for a particular project, and we often shortlist to those requirements. And so if you are one of the bidders on a shortlisted bid invite, the expectation is that ultimately that we are going to receive a bid from you. And so we want to get that commitment early. So if you're not able to bid, we could replace you with somebody else. But if you end up not being able to, if you're non-responsive or don't provide a bid, it really frustrates our pre-construction department significantly. They're there to help. If something doesn't make sense or you need help along the way, they're there to help. We want to get a price from you, but waiting to the 11th hour before we have that conversation or not receiving a bid is a very quick way, or unfortunately, not to get invited back for future work. So the goal is to as many of some of my competition said, is start building positive working relationships with your firm so that we can engage and have that relationship to move into the future.
You know, I'd like to say something too. There is if you, at a minimum, if you can't do it, I mean, a lot of companies are getting really busy right now, which is great. But if you can't do it, pick up the phone and call that particular estimator that's in charge of that project and just let them know, hey, I do want to work with you guys, but we're just swamped. That's just going to go so far with building that relationship with them. They will definitely say, hey, this person was really on top of it. They couldn't bid the last project. We got this other one coming up. They fit well there. I'm going to give them a call personally and find out. That kind of relationship you have to build to get the success that you're looking for and that you need.
I couldn't agree with that more.
True, and I was just going to say that it's better for you guys to call and say we're too busy than just to ignore it or wait until the last minute. So definitely make sure you communicate. What is the best way for an XBE to market itself to Sunt, and how can they best connect with your company's decision maker?
I think by participating in this event today, you've taken the first step. I think a great second step would be to participate tomorrow in the matchmaking event. That is a great way to introduce yourself to Sunt, find out where there may be a value that you could provide, and share some of that information specifically about the uniqueness of your company with the people on the matchmaking event, including Deanna and myself, because we will share that internally. I can't also underestimate the importance of getting pre-qualified or registering as a vendor, because in order for us to ultimately award a subcontract, you need to be pre-qualified. And our vendor list is something that we share with all of our subcontractors. And it's a great way for us to be able to look to see who is meets a specific requirement on a project. So you've taken the first step today, so congratulations, and we hope to try to find the right way to work with you all in the future.
Great, thank you, Brad. And moving on, what suggestions do you have for an XBEs to help themselves be successful while performing on a project as a subcontractor, subconsultant, or a vendor for your company?
Going back to something I said earlier, is be realistic with your capabilities, but also be specific with your capabilities. Share with us what you are very strong and able to do. So initially, we get you in the right place within the project team, and that will start off a good foundation for success. The next part of it is really being honest if there's something that you don't understand. If there is a form that we send out asking you to respond to some project requirement and you don't know how to fill out the form, raise your hand, let our team know. If there is help that you need on a change order, let us know. We're here to help. The goal is ultimately that all of our subcontractors are successful. If you're successful, then most likely we're successful as well. But it truly is a partnership, and I would encourage people to raise their hands when there is a challenge or something that needs to be overcome, so that we can help us all be successful on the project together.
I'd like to add something too, Maria. One thing that I remember, of course, it was quite a while ago when I was out in the field on a regular basis, but one thing I remember is the contractors would come in, right, set up appointments with our superintendents, come in and sit down and review the scope. So everybody knew what everybody was expecting from each other. They knew their timing. And this was long before the superintendent called them in to say, hey, you're going to be starting next week, or we need to sit down and talk with these other trades that are going to be around you and try and get you scheduled. Do that ahead of time. Get yourself in front of that superintendent. He's going to have, or she's going to actually have a lot of respect for that. And they're also going to feel very comfortable with your working ethics and your ability to get the job done and to do it right. So that's just a little suggestion that goes also a long way for you.
Just to add on to that, I mean, we do often pre-installation meetings, onboarding meetings, so that is an opportunity. don't wait for us either. You know, like Deanna said, reach out to us. We'll be glad to engage there. You know, if it's your first project with Sun, I can't express the importance of being responsive to the needs of the project. The goal obviously is, like I said before, to build a partnership, to build a strong working relationship. But if you're non-responsive or not able to meet the needs of the project, it really it affects our success as a project team. And it is a good way also to not get called back in the future. We want to be able to engage with contractors that help us all succeed and help us grow our business as well as us helping to grow your business. For every one of our projects, we do a subcontractor evaluation at the end of the job, and the goal is to truly celebrate those people that do well, those firms that do well, and also provide feedback to the subcontractors if there was something that didn't go as well.
Thank you both. And just want to take this opportunity to congratulate Sun on the recent award of the admin building, and we look forward to working with you. Christine, do we have any questions?
Yes, there is a question regarding whether or not the administration building project will include electrical commissioning, testing, inspection, etc.
It absolutely will. There is a significant electrical system throughout the building. It's very complicated. The commissioning side is actually under the airport's contract. It's not under our contract. I believe that they have already selected a commissioning agent for their overall scope of work. On our side, we will be working very closely with the electrical subcontractor to make sure that we come up with a robust activation and commissioning plan. There may be an opportunity to help provide some insight to the subcontractor that we select. But from the commissioning standpoint, that contract is underneath the Airport Authority.
And also that particular piece of work is, while he said it's under the electrical contractor, based off our historical data, the electrical contractor does sub-tier that out. So there is opportunity there, and I can connect you with them.
Great, thank you both. Would you be able to elaborate for attendees on the pre-qual process, the location again, and if there is a renewal for pre-qualification, if there's like, say, a timeline from when they go through the process, if they have to do it again, and the frequency of that?
Brad, let me answer that.
I was going to ask you to answer that. Thank you.
Yeah, I see that there's a question here from Stephen from MTGL. There's a difference between who does pre-qualification and who needs to go in through registration. So pre-qualification is a yearly renewal, and pre-qualification is only to be done by subcontractors who are actually installing permanent material, has a contractor's license and so forth. There are exceptions or exemptions to the pre-qualification, and we do have that outlined on our website. Just to let you know, there are some unique ones like traffic control doesn't have to pre-qualify, and street sweeping, things like that, where they're actually doing work on site. But again, they don't have to, they're one of the exemptions. MTGL, who has sent this question in, thank you, Stephen, and we're going to talk to you tomorrow. You guys don't pre-qualify. You're a service. And so you guys would just make sure you get registered. And so there's two different doors to go in, but everybody's in the same database. It just depends on how much information is required. So a subcontractor has to provide their financials and their EMR, their safety rating, various insurance documentation, things like that. Whereas the vendor registration is a little more limited. You don't have to do the financials and so forth, because that risk, it's all about that risk. Like I think it was PCL mentioned, it's all about the risk. So I hope that answers it, but it's yearly for the subcontractors, pre-qual. And as far as the vendor registration goes, I would suggest you just reach out to me to make sure your information is updated, because a lot of times we're reaching out to the emails that are on there and they're going into some big black hole because that person left because they won the lottery or they went on vacation, right? So let's make sure your information is correct in our database so that you are getting those notifications.
Lovely. And I had this question in mind. With the administration building awarded to your team, do you have any future plans on outreach opportunities, whether it be in person, virtually, or training that they can all look out for?
Yeah, absolutely. We are committed to continuing this beyond the Airport Authority events over the next couple weeks. There will be additional outreach events. We are watching how this Meet the Primes event as well as the matchmaking goes to try to tailor our approach as we proceed forward. You know, right now we're somewhat in between both a virtual world and a, you know, as COVID restrictions, you know, lift up a little bit, being able to meet in person. So there might be a hybrid, there may be another virtual session, but the intent is to have some more meetings, and the specifics of that, Deanna and I are going to be working on in the near future.
Yeah, the matchmaking one that we're thinking about doing, it's going to be coming up in November. It's also going to cover both the San Diego Airport as well as San Diego Unified, because we have a lot of work with them as well. But the uniqueness about that will be that the matchmaking is not going to be directly with SUNT personnel. It's going to be with the subcontractors that are bidding. So those of you that could be second tiers, third tiers, that's going to be your best opportunity to sell to those people, because you're going to both need each other. They're going to have to meet certain requirements and they're going to need you. And then you can then talk to them face to face. And that's going to be the best way to get in front of the buyers for you as second tier, lower tier suppliers, things like that. So be looking out for that. It will be on our website. I put that in the chat. We will identify when and how to get registered for something like that.
Great, thank you for answering that. And they'll be able to keep their ears open, eyes open, and find out about when they have those opportunities to meet with your team and learn about all that. I have a question here that Maria and myself could answer. The question is regards to tomorrow's matchmaking. Just for everyone's FYI, so I have included the matchmaking link into the chat box. It's mbmapp.com/event/MTP 2021. The time frame is 10 to 4, in which prime contractors have gone in there, added their categories, and put their schedule availability. And what you would need to do is do the same, go to that website, register, add your business categories, products, services of interest, set your schedule. There's an option to either, you can message a prime if you have a question, and you can request for a meeting, and that prime contractor will accept or decline their invitation. An example for a decline would be, say, if they're trying to refer you to someone else on their team that's participating, or if they do not have an opportunity and don't see a need for the meeting to take place. But this is all on our business matchmaking, which is both tomorrow and on the 29th. 29th is for prime concessionaires and business support services to meet with all businesses that are interested. Looks like there are no other questions for both you, Brad and Deanna. Thank you so much. And back to you, Maria.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. And thank you both. Great presentation. And now we're just going to go ahead and open it up to general questions, Christine. So go ahead and take over.
And I'll give a moment for everyone to submit any additional questions that they may have that they thought of throughout the last 2 hours. SUNT team, there's a question on how many employees does SUNT have?
That's you, Brad.
It's ever fluctuating, but I believe we have about 3,000 employees throughout SUNT. Some of those are admin level, you know, managers, engineers, administrators. Some of those are labor as well. And I say it fluctuates quite a bit based upon how much work we're self-performing. I probably should know exactly where we're at today, but we've been self-performing quite a bit more work on the industrial side and the transportation side over the last few years. So the number continues to climb.
Excellent, thank you. And we wanted to ask if PCL is participating in matchmaking. Attendee just wanted to double check on that.
Yeah, both, I believe Patrick and myself, we're both listed there for scheduling. I know I have I've received a few during this session requests, but certainly have some openings left.
Excellent, thank you. Please reach out to the PCL team under the matchmaking platform, and you can also message them if there wasn't a match. You can always message them your question and see if they can meet with you to give you more information on working with your business. And some questions on scheduling, just to understand. So matchmaking for prime contractors is tomorrow. You could request for a meeting, you could send a message to them, but if for whatever reason the scheduling doesn't work out, you could reach out to them to meet with them or answer questions via email or a separate meeting if it looks like the time slots are not available. So feel free to either email questions to contractors, the prime contractor panelists, as we are sending out the copy of this presentation and the recording to all attendees. And it looks like there are no other general questions. We'll give a couple of moments to see if there are any other questions that can be asked with all participating panelists today. Sunt team, we have a question for you. Is Sunt working with MSP or single vendor for staff augmentation?
I don't believe we are. Deanna, does that sound familiar to you?
It does not sound familiar to me, but
Yeah,
please meet with me tomorrow because I would like to find out about that, what that is.
We don't do a lot of staff augmentation specific to the capabilities that we do in-house, but similar to what some of our competition shared on this this panel, that each project is different and each project has unique requirements, and sometimes they're outside of what we're capable of doing, and then we're looking for a partner to help augment and help us be successful in that project.
Great, thank you. And do any panelists today have any type of opportunities regarding ground power equipment, 400 HC hertz? With no response, I take that as no. Oh, Brad, I see your camera on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm not aware with the projects that I'm specifically involved with, I'm not aware of that opportunity. There very well may be some of that within our larger company, but nothing specifically comes to mind.
We have some other questions on whether panelists can...
Christine?
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, I would just add on the 400 hertz front, just keep an eye on the new infrastructure bill that's working its way through Congress, because there will be specific sustainability goals in there. So airports across the region will be looking to tap into that for those types of projects.
Great, thank you. And can any prime contractors reiterate on specific types of industries that you're in and opportunities with industries or services? Just a couple of repeats.
Yeah, I'll go first since my camera was just on. So Jacobs, we're involved in healthcare, transportation, government buildings. Basically, being as large as we are, we're involved in every market sector.
And from Sunt's standpoint, it's actually listed on the screen right now. You can see our 4 primary markets right there: transportation, industrial, building, and concrete. We also have a solar group that is underneath our industrial group. But those, you know, through those expertise, we cover a little bit of everything.
Great, thank you.
For Burns & McDonnell, similar to Jacobs, we're a large overall EPC or engineering and design build company spread across most of the infrastructure business. So we talk about airports here, but we're involved in a wide range of projects from general buildings to I mentioned the electric high voltage transmission, substation work, transportation, obviously roadways, things like that, but a wide variety of industries.
I would say for PCL construction, so I've been speaking mostly about our buildings division here, which for us, we focus on aviation, education, government, sports and entertainment, life science and mixed use. But we also have divisions that work in industrial power plants, as well as a water and civil group, which is working on bridges and water treatment facilities and power facilities and other aspects of things like that.
Very good. All right, well, those are all the general questions for the session today. Maria, back to you.
Thank you, Christine. And can I have all our panelists turn on their turn on their camera, please? For our closing remarks. So thank you all for participating in our second virtual Meet the Primes event 2021. Don't forget about the matchmaking. You've heard a lot of our contractors this morning say participate in the matchmaking, which is a great platform for you to meet one-on-one, and that will be tomorrow. And then Thursday, we have our second contractors panel session from 5 to 7. And with us that evening will be AECON, or the Arrive team, which is the Terminal 1 general contractor, CNS companies, the Neil Electric, and the Jones Paint Group. A special thank you to our panelists for an excellent presentation, and to our team support members. And we hope that you participate in our next week schedule. And the following week, we also have another schedule for the third week. So it's all on Eventbrite. So please, if you have any questions about what is next, please refer back to our Eventbrite. Thank you, everyone. And we appreciate all your feedback.
Thank you. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you both.
See you guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you both.